Never a bad day in San Diego. The Rockies concluding their three-game set at Petco. They won yesterday 10-1. They dropped an 8-5 decision on Friday. So if they can knock off the Padres today, it will be 10 straight road series to begin 2017 without losing a series. Jogging to the Padre mound is Jarred Cozart. He turned 27 a little more than a week ago. He's had big league time with Houston, Miami, and over the last year, the San Diego Padres. They always honor the military on Sundays here in San Diego, big military town, and we honor all the strong men and women, not only here in San Diego, but around the world, serving the United States Armed Services. Charlie Blackmon will lead things off. 57 ball games, gorgeous numbers. He's the reigning player of the month in May. Had a couple of hits yesterday. He'll be at the top, followed by his good buddy DJ LeMahieu. The rest of the Southwest batting order. Jenny was just bragging on Nolan Arenado. He had a big day yesterday. He's got the average up to 288. Mark Reynolds back in there. He did have a pinch hitting appearance yesterday. Got to put Gerardo Parra in the lineup. He barely made it out in the last week. He's at 317 now. Ian Desmond hit the grand slam yesterday. Trevor Story, Tony Walters again behind the plate, and Jeff Hoffman making the start today for Tyler Anderson. The issue with Jarred Cozart has been pretty simple. Throughout his career, he walks a lot of guys.
Including this year, as you can see from the numbers, 16 walks, only 10 strikeouts in 20 innings. So the guys are going to look for him today to try to get it into the zone. It's been a while since he's gotten a win. 20 straight starts without a W for Jarred. Fastball, curveball, changeup, and slider. And he throws a lot of pitches. We talked about that. About a third of the pitches, he is pitching behind in the count, and first pitch strike right at 50%.
You know, Hugh, you could make an argument, albeit it was only 4 innings, that his best start of the year, and this is just his 6th, was against the Rockies in Denver. 4 shutout innings. The Rockies struggled with him.
Yeah, only gave up 5 hits, had just 1 walk in that affair, 2 strikeouts. And that was his first start of the year. His first appearance of the year was against the Dodgers, where he only threw 2/3 of an inning, but since then this will be his 6th consecutive start.
And the longest he's gone in a game, one time he went 5 innings. That was on May 18th at home against Milwaukee. He gave up a run on 5 hits. Pretty good arm. And here's Blackmon stepping in. And the first pitch is right there for a strike. Charlie against the Padres this year hitting .375.
And right now, it's kind of a modified version of a stretch for Cozart. He stands sideways to the plate, doesn't really come set, but then he'll go with his leg.
And Charlie rips this one foul. 2 strikes on Charlie. The Rockies banged out 13 hits yesterday, including a couple of home runs. They banged out 13 hits in the loss on Friday. They have 4 straight ball games at Petco where they have produced more than 10 hits in a game. And overall this year at Petco, they're hitting just under 300. That's after hitting below 220 combined the last 2 years here in San Diego. And a fastball up, and he gets a strikeout on 3 pitches. The Rockies' offense at Petco has been very good. They've won 3 out of 5 in Petco this year. Last year averages 3 runs a game here. This year they've doubled that.
And they've never had 5 straight 10-hit games here at Petco. So we're looking to extend on that. But yesterday was the big blow from Ian, the grand slam.
That was a separator. That made the rest of the way pretty easy. Expanded a 4-1 lead to 8-1. DJ takes a strike. Home plate umpire is Roberto Ortiz. Trip Gibson is at first base. Dan Iasani is at second, and Brian Gorman at third. That's outside. DJ grounded out, lined out yesterday, and then he produced 3 straight hits in his final 3 at-bats and also a couple of RBIs. He scored 2 runs yesterday as well.
And remember that line out, Solarte had to leap high to get that at second base. He easily had 4 hits.
2-1.
The Rockies did hit on the field, but it was more of an optional hit because a lot of the big guys did not hit out on the field today. Charlie didn't, DJ, Nolan, Ian, Mark Reynolds.
And just so you understand, folks, that doesn't mean they didn't take any swings. They will hit inside.
Good point.
Saw Charlie and Trevor doing that inside.
Well, and the schedule's so wacky right now for the Rockies. So tomorrow being an off day, you'll hit Tuesday back in Colorado. Wednesday's a day game, probably won't. Thursday in Chicago, it's a night game you'll hit, and then you got 3 straight day games in Chicago.
Midst of 12 out of 14 on the road. How about this? In the month of June, and Huey, you told me about this a few days ago. I couldn't believe it. The Rockies play only 9 home games. 3-1.
You got the Giants after you come back from that long road trip for 4 games in Arizona. Also part of that for 3.
And then you're not home again.
And then you're not home. That's it.
Mike Redmond, Buddy Black, 3-2. 1 out, just underway at Petco. And on the ground to second. Solarte's got it, 2 outs. Padres have been a lower third team defensively. Playing shortstop today is the former Angel, the veteran Eric Ibar. The first couple of ball games at short, it was Chance Darno. Cordoba's in left, Cordero's in center, Hunter Renfroe is in right, Schimpf at third. He's back in there. Solarte at second, Will Myers naturally at first, and Austin Hedges has come alive with the bat, so he has caught all 3 ball games. Here's Nolan, and he takes strike 1. Arenado yesterday, single, 2-run home run, also had a sac fly.
And a home run yesterday that he hit traveled 431 feet.
I said Chance a moment ago. Chase Darno. Who's Chance Darno? What was I thinking?
I'm not sure who he is.
I think his parents were vacillating back and forth
they weren't
between
quite
Chase
sure.
and Chance. They had let me know that, and
they decided to go. With
I
Chase.
went with Chance, even though it was Chase. There was a chance at one point it was going to be Chance. Following me?
I got you. Nice try.
Thank you. 0-2. Cozart was originally a 38th round pick out of a Texas high school.
Yeah, by the Phillies.
And he signed.
He was picked number 1,156 in that draft.
Back up the middle, and that's going to sneak through. So a 2-out knock for Nolan. That will allow Mark Reynolds to hit here in the first.
Cozart's a little angry with himself that he didn't make this play, but it's hard when you're falling to the first base side and then you're trying to reach back across your body and he misses it, and then he puts a glove in his mouth and just hangs on to it that way. Just carries it around. But the way he fell, though, it's going to be hard to reach back. I don't care how hard it's hit. You're 53, 54, 5 feet away from home.
Here's Mark Reynolds, 2 for his last 20. Mark has seen Cozart 3 times. He's hit a home run against him. Historically, righties have hit Cozart better than lefties, though this year lefties have really outperformed right-handed batters against Cozart. Overall, the league's hitting .270 against Zach.
He has a whip.
Or Jared. Zach plays shortstop. Yeah, mixing everybody up today. He plays shortstop for Cincinnati.
He also has a whip of 1.80.
And one of the things about his career, when you look at the whip, last year it was 174. The year before it was 175. It's always been well above league average because of the walks.
Well, hitting so much easier when you're ahead in the count and the guys not around the plate. Then you sit in a 3-1 count. I think Mark's walking around for a minute. That went off the end of the bat.
You never want to show that it stings your hands, but that stung his hands.
And it doesn't matter what. I mean, it hurts worse when it's a 40-degree, 45-degree day than it is today, but it still hurts.
1-2, 2 outs. Nolan at first. And Cozart with a very good first inning, 2 strikeouts. Jeff Hoffman will make his 3rd start of the year. Against Philadelphia in his last spot start, he was nearly immaculate. 7 innings and dominating the Phillies. So he's 2-0 this year. And I think he's drawn upon some of the experience that he had from his call up late last year, Huey.
Yeah, he had 6 starts last year, 8 games. Guys hit 287 against him. A lot of walks per 9 inning. A whip of 172. He's channeled all of that. And it all starts with the fastball command because he's throwing it a little bit more now than he did last year. The velocity is probably about a mile an hour higher, but he's repeating his delivery, it seems like, each and every pitch that he makes to the plate.
First pitch of the ball game misses to Alan Cordoba. It is ball 1. He did a great job of filling up the strike zone in Philadelphia. 1 start back down in Albuquerque since that appearance. That misses. 2-0. Cordoba's hitting .338 his last 20. And that fastball at 96 is fouled off.
It's something they worked really hard on during spring training, even last year, this winter, is making sure that you can command the fastball to both sides of the plate because you need to be able to pitch inside to then pitch away effectively.
That's a good looking fastball, and it's 2-2. 24-year-old Jeff Hoffman, 6'5", 220 pounds, the ideal frame to pitch. He's very athletic.
And a very loose arm, too, in a good way. You get quick arm speed coming through.
And a strikeout. He comes all the way back, dials up 97. Good beginning. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Andy Green today. Yangervis Solarte, he's heated up also. He'll bat second. And then naturally it's Will Myers. He's always in the 3 spot. Ryan Schimpf, you know his story. Feast or famine. He hits a lot of home runs, but just a .165 average and a lot of strikeouts. Hunter Renfroe, Franchi Cordero. Hedges has a home run in each of the last 3. Second time he's done that this year. And the veteran switch hitter Eric Ibar will bat 8th. This ball in the air to Parra in right field. 2 outs. With two gone, we check the Rockies defensively. Parra is playing right for Cargo today. Ian Desmond's in left, Charlie Blackmon in center. Arenado, Story, LeMahieu, and Reynolds left to right in the infield. And Tony Walters, for the 5th straight game, is behind the plate. Ryan Hannigan is fine, but one more ball game for Tony. And then there's a day off tomorrow. We'll see how it shakes out in that 2-game set with the Indians at home. One of the things I talked to Tony about, I talked to Buddy Black about, I think it's overstated that a smaller catcher wears down just because physically he's not Austin Hedges size, for instance.
But I look at Tony, though. He might be, maybe not tall in stature, but he's ripped.
Strong guy.
Strong is strong. Strong as, I don't care how, if you're 6'4", or 5'10", 5'11", whatever it is. Tony's strong. There's been a lot of catchers in this game that have caught a lot of innings.
Let's see this curveball here, 0-2 on Myers. It's a beauty. And a strikeout of Will Myers. 2 strikeouts in a 7-pitch 1-2-3 first inning for Jeff Hoffman. That a baby. See the Rockies stage 2 against Cozart when we come back. That's a great hack. Brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By Papa John's. Use the code ROXWIN for 50% off at papajohns.com the next day. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. It's not a new ship, but it's a beautiful ship. Little sailboat.
A lot of people on that boat. That'd have been fun.
Great way to spend your Sunday morning. Today was the San Diego Marathon. Gerardo Parra will step up in the second against Jared Cozart. Fastball's away. Cozart in the first inning, with one exception, got himself in pretty good pitcher counts. Nolan had a base hit up the middle. Shift is on, 3 on the right side, and that's outside. Parra is 12 for his last 16 at the plate. 16 for his last 28.
When you're in a groove like this, you seem like you're constantly ahead in the count, and you constantly get pitches, but then you don't miss them. That's the difference.
2-0 pitch. And this ball's in the air to fairly deep left field. It's traveling pretty good, and against the wall, Cordoba makes a catch, and he's shaken up.
Boy, he ran into that wall hard.
He got turned around, and he did hit it hard.
Well, he opened up to his glove side and then drifted back and had to catch it over his arm side and then smack dab into the wall.
It's about the only way you're getting Gerardo Parra out these days.
You have to make a sensational catch, and Cordoba did. So then he starts drifting and face first into the padding, and I don't care how much padding there is, when you don't have a chance to brace yourself before you hit it, you're going to wear that hard, and he did. He's lucky he held on to that ball, too. That was a good catch. Great catch.
Yeah, it really was. Now, number one thing they're going to look at, he's going to look, see if the pupils are dilated to check for concussion.
Well, he immediately grabbed his head after he's on the ground.
He has Eric Ibar there. I think Eric Ibar is interpreting for him. I think he wants to stay in. I know he wants to stay in. The question is, will they let him stay in?
They'll monitor this constantly throughout the game if he stays in, and it does look like he will. But the minute he comes off the field, they'll have another conversation with him, the trainer, just to make sure that you're not talking about a concussion. Oh,
really athletic play, getting his hips turned around.
And that's what he did. It was like, it's kind of like a defensive back in football where you have to change directions and you cross over in karaoke to go to the wall to make that play.
Just a 21-year-old kid from Panama. Again, he's the young man who was taken out of the Cardinals organization in the Rule 5 draft. He's put up terrific numbers in the minor leagues. Here's Ian Desmond with one out. Last time we saw him, he was trotting around the bases after driving in a full house.
Well, he does like hitting here for sure, because his 3 home runs all have been here. 2 in 1 game. Both of those first 2 off of Jared Weaver. And then yesterday, the grand salami.
There's a called strike, 1-1. It's funny because Ian told Jenny after the ball game yesterday, he kind of shook his head. My first 4 at-bats were lousy. I'm paraphrasing for him. He wasn't pleased with his first 4 at-bats. The beauty of the game of baseball, you get another opportunity. And it looks like a wonderful day when you drive that ball out of the ballpark with 3 friends on base. Desmond's 3 for 11 with a home run against Cozart. And Cozart with a strikeout. That's his 3rd already. You don't want a repeat performance of what you saw in Denver, where the Rockies get baffled by Jared Cozart.
And you don't want him to get into a comfort zone out there on the hill.
Fans, make sure you join in on the conversation today. Send us your statements, your questions. Use Twitter or Instagram. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. 2 outs, nobody on. Trevor Story at the plate. Trevor 1 for 5 yesterday. Hitting a solid .282 in the 11 games since coming off the DL. Takes a strike. Hit a couple home runs, driven in 5 in that time frame. Seems like the guys the Rockies have struggled with this year, when they've struggled against a starting pitcher, they've been more of the journeyman variety. And he's still young enough. I don't want to just throw him in that classification, but he has struggled. clearly.
He's only 27 years old.
He's 27, so it's a little bit unfair. But you know what I mean. Where a lot of the top shelf guys, the Rockies, have really swung the bats well.
Yeah, for Cozart, 71 major league starts, 73 games. But for me, you could tell a guy is just kind of still trying to find his way, and still got, just because of the windup and the stretch that he's going through right now. There's really nothing conventional about what he's doing, because he doesn't come set, and then he'll throw the right foot back, and just a lot of moving parts going. So to me, he's trying to figure out, okay, what's this plan that I can use so I can be a little bit more efficient with my pitches and throw a few more strikes.
Well, he's thrown a lot of strikes today. 28 pitches, 18 have been in the zone. 2-2 on Story. And he gets another strikeout. 2 in each inning. Middle of 2, no score.
Season for the Rockies. He's had 2 previous spot starts, and Bud Black would not say if he'll get another start beyond today, but he would say what he's liked so far about Hoffman's mechanics.
You know, solidifying his mechanics. We talked a lot about that in spring training at the very end of camp, about what he needed to do to really become a major league pitcher in a lot of different ways, and you know, Jeff took that to heart. But delivery seems to be in a really good spot of repeating his delivery. Release point, arm slot, finish, you know, all those things that go into consistency.
And there's the first out of the inning as Ian Desmond makes the catch in left field. Bud Black also went on to discuss a big league pitcher's state of mind. He said it's so important to have an emotional state of mind that's right, and he said he likes how Hoffman's improved that since spring training. Didn't want to elaborate on it too much more, but again, we talked about it with Chatwood yesterday, and just kind of how you go about your business on the mound, how you communicate, especially when times get tough. So he likes what he sees from Hoffman so far, and for Hoffman, guys, yet another opportunity to prove this is a place he wants to be and that he belongs.
I keep coming back to the same thing. You can't have enough depth. You cannot have enough starting pitching. That ball Schimpf hit was not a routine play. Desmond went to the wall in left center field. Crowd was standing. They thought he'd hit it out. Reached up and made the catch. Hunter Renfroe's got big pop, and that fastball's on the inside corner with some run. It's 0-2.
Well, this ball off the bat, Schimpf has the power, no doubt about it. And so Desi thought he was going to have to leap and make a catch over the wall for a moment, because you see him chop his feet, and then he didn't have to. When I go back to this for Jeff Hoffman, I look at him, and coming into spring training, he was going to be the guy. He was going to be he was a front runner for the starting position, and he didn't get it, but he didn't pout when he went to AAA.
Curveball's hitting the air to shallow center. Charlie's got it, 2 outs.
You know, last year, we'll go back to the numbers for Jeff. And when you come up to the big leagues, there's a lot to prove, not only to yourself, but to organizations. And it didn't go the way Jeff wanted to. Didn't get a W. Looking for that. That first win is always important, but this year in the 3 games, 2 starts, he's been outstanding. 329, striking out a lot of guys. As I mentioned, not walking guys. He's filling up the strike zone, doing a lot of positive things for his career.
And a curveball to start the count, and he gets it in there on Franchy Cordero. He has 2 more strikeouts today. So in the big leagues this year, in 3 starts and 1 other appearance, he has 19 strikeouts, only 2 walks. That will always work. And there's the running fastball at 96, and it's 0-2.
And down in Albuquerque this year, guys hit 218 off him. So Albuquerque, they hit 298, which is okay because it's below 300 in the PCL. And in Albuquerque, 186 out on the road against him. 186
in the PCL.
In the PCL.
Plus he has an ERA in the 3s in the PCL. One and 2 on Cordero. Another one of the young players at San Diego. Hopes blossoms into a bona fide big leaguer. Good 2-seamer.
Jeff
tried the hip side.
it.
Yeah, close.
Real close on the Subaru strike zone. Not quite close enough, but it'll put some doubt in the hitter's mind next time.
Well, he overwhelms him with that fastball. Hoffman making quick work of the Padres in the first 2 innings. Jeff has thrown a handful of pitches. Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By the Tavern downtown, get 2-for-1 draft beers after Rockies home games with your same-day ticket. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism, Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why TravelWyoming.com. Second appearance for the Rockies at Petco this year. They took 2 of 3 in April against the Padres. Won't see San Diego again till September. And they won that series in April against the Pods. It was the first time they'd won a series here since 2013. They were 0-7-3 in series games. In series between these 2 teams in their prior 10 visits to San Diego. Ball 1, I'm Tony Walters. Tony getting to stay at home at the house he grew up in over the last couple of days. North of San Diego. Here's the 1-0, and Tony went 1-1. Tony 0 for 4 yesterday. Reached on an intentional walk. They shift also against Walters. 2-1.
This kind of plays into Tony's hand, though. The way he can take an pitch even inside and inside out it to left field. That's what if I'm Tony right now, that's all I'm thinking. Keep the hands close to the belly so I can inside out it to left center.
3-1. See his parents, his granddad. Always here when the Rockies are in town. Who looks the most nervous?
I think they all look pretty relaxed.
No, they're nervous.
I know, inside. Watching intently.
3-1. And Tony pulls it, but right at Will Myers. 1 out. That's how games like this work. Jeff Hoffman's going to throw out a hit right now.
Chatty did yesterday, threw out 2.
Yeah, I mean, Cozart's pitched well. He's given up 1 hit, the ground ball up the middle by Nolan. Hoffman's going to get his second hit right now.
Jeff 1 for 5 on the year.
Isn't it nice after you pitch like Chatwood did yesterday? Do some work
Kick
today,
back.
and then you kick back.
It's all good. Life's good right now. Said it yesterday. When you do what he did on the hill, 4 days in between are a lot of fun. When you're not good, those 4 days in between, like he knows where he's on right now.
Yeah.
The 4 days in between, ooh.
Not as much fun.
No, not at all.
Cozart does a nice job fielding his position. So much for my prediction. 2 outs. 2 outs, nobody on. Blackman will come up for the second time. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more in any game, they did it yesterday. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locales the next day. Do it between 4 and 6. Here's an interesting one. So Charlie's hitting .429 with runners in scoring position. There's nobody on base right now. He has 49 such at bats this year. Nolan, who hits third, has only 2 more, 51. The most on the team is Mark Reynolds, who typically hits 4th or 5th. He has 55. Again, it underscores how good a job the bottom of the lineup has done in reaching in front of Blackman. Charlie struck out on 3 pitches to begin the ball game.
Just notice Charlie's going with some batting gloves today. A lot of times he'll go without batting gloves. Got his hands all taped up. He and Will Myers are the 2 guys that I recognize a lot not using batting gloves. Will never uses them.
You're on top of that.
Well, it's just, you know, little things. Little things. You notice that as a former hitter. Guys wearing batting gloves, what kind do they wear? And Charlie's a Nike guy. Some guys are Mizuno. Other guys are straight up Franklin, like DJ LeMahieu. He wears the old school Franklin batting gloves.
What's the difference between the old school batting gloves and the new school batting gloves?
A little thicker for especially on Franklins.
The new ones are thicker?
No,
or the old ones are thicker?
The old ones are a little thicker. There's the old Franklins. Those have been around forever.
2-2 on Charlie. Outside 3-2. Charlie has 9 career home runs here at Petco. In fact, the only guy who has more home runs here in the Rockies lineup is Reynolds, who's been around a little bit longer. Mark has hit 10 home runs at Petco. 3-2. And another 1, 2, 3 innings. That's 7 in a row set down by Jared Cozart. No score. The Unlimited Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. This is the incomparable Albert Pujols. The bases were loaded. Albert in style hits number 600, becoming the 9th man to join that club. First to do it with a grand slam. And there's a great story behind the 600th home run. You see the list of iconic names: Bonds, Aaron Ruth, A-Rod, Mays Jr., Jim Thome, Sammy Sosa, and Albert Pujols now. Curveball is in there for a strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike on Austin Hedges, who has hit a home run in his last 3. He was 0 for 2 earlier in the ball game, and I'm sure putting some pressure on himself. And because he's DHing, he had time, he said after the game, to check his cell phone. He had gotten a text after his second at bat. This ball's well hit left center field, and it'll be cut off there nicely by Blackman, 1 out. He had gotten a text from his wife, Deirdre. It had 2 words on the text. Not 3, I love you. Not, honey, pick up some milk on the way home from the yard. Stay back.
I thought you were going to say, let's go.
It was even better. It was pointed. She's like his hitting coach.
Right.
Stay back. He stayed back, and he hit a ball just inside the foul pole for his 600th home run.
They did it in style with grand salami.
Did Wendy ever give you advice hitting?
No.
Well,
no,
she should have.
She should have, but she didn't.
I'm sorry.
No, it was too easy. I get it. I get it. She should have. Maybe we didn't have text then, though.
Back off of Hoffman, and Story's not going to be able to throw out Ibar. Jeff walking around like he's okay. That is the first base runner for San Diego.
He says he's fine. I'm good. Catches him on the backside, but directed too far away from Trevor to be able to get Ibar at first. Now, did this get his glove? Yeah, okay, it went off his glove.
Almost made the backwards catch, right?
That's great, though. Stay back.
Isn't that awesome? Cozart stabs at that. It's 0-1.
But you know what? There were 7 grand slams hit yesterday. 7. The old record was 6 in a day.
There's been a ton of home runs. On Friday night, there were 6 home runs hit in baseball over 440 feet.
Yeah, so you had Pujols, you had Ian Desmond. So there's 5. Schwarber, Matt Adams, Travis Shaw, Chris Taylor, Mike Zunino. Zunino with Seattle, I think he also had 7 RBIs yesterday.
That's a good day.
Yeah.
2 strikes on Cozart. You talk about the greatest right-handed hitters in the history of the big leagues, and it's hard to go back. I mean, we can look at numbers and, you know, the Rogers Hornsbys of the world, right? But of guys that we've seen, Albert, for me, is maybe the greatest right-handed hitter I've seen. You know,
with power too.
Well, I'm just overall,
yeah, overall.
Miguel Cabrera, for me, is on that list. Manny Ramirez, and I know whenever you mention Manny, it becomes a little bit more controversial, but in terms of watching him and what he did and the numbers and the power, etc.
Edgar Martinez, I would put in that top 5 too.
Well, he gets the bunt down. So Cozart on his final attempt sacrifices Ibar. That's the 2nd sack bunt for Cozart this year. With 2 outs, that'll bring up Alan Cordoba. Last time we were checking in on Cordoba, he made a great catch and then ran straight into the left field wall and was down for a moment or 2.
So Albert's 37. 37 and a half right now. Is he another 3?
He has 4 years left on that
contract?
original 10-year
Okay.
deal. Yeah, 4.5 years if you include what he's got left this year. Well, we haven't gotten to some guys that we saw growing up, the latter part of their careers. It's a good block. Willie Mays and Henry Aaron.
Right, but
that's a given, right?
Exactly.
Frank Robinson. You played with Vladimir Guerrero.
Yep.
A-Rod put up prodigious numbers.
Played with him early in his career in Seattle.
But Albert's ability to hit for average, hit for power, didn't strike out.
Stay in here.
This is playable. Hoffman wants it, but Reynolds will call him off. Good job by Jeff. Ibar left at second base. We move on to inning number 4. Hoffman has pitched beautiful baseball. So has Cozart. Rockies. Arizona losing as well. And the Rockies trying to take care of business and capture 2 of 3 against the Padres with Jeff Houston and Jenny Cavnar. I'm Drew Goodman. 4th inning. DJ LeMahieu will be first, then Arenado and Reynolds against Jared Cozart. 27-year-old has struck out 4. He's allowed 1 hit. Now it's a ground ball up the middle by Arenado with 2 outs in the first.
And he hasn't done what the scouting report says he should be doing and throwing a lot of balls. I mean, he's thrown 44 pitches, 27 for strikes.
Well, he was very solid, albeit only over 4 innings when he pitched against the Rockies earlier this year. The Rockies start to figure him out the more they see him. Outside, 2-1. Outfield severely angled toward the right field line. Padres, remember earlier this year, they had their center fielder and their right fielder holding hands out in right center field. I didn't understand that alignment.
That's how close they were together?
Pretty much. It's a little.
They backed off that.
Yeah. I mean, Renfroe is closer to the line. 3-1. Cozart again in 20 innings coming in had walked 16. Hasn't walked anybody yet.
Right here, calling it.
Oh! 3-2. There's a base hit. LeMahieu a leadoff single. See how the Rockies move forward with Nolan coming up. Today's Rockies news and notes are brought to you by All Copy Products. Well, the Rockies 20-10 on the road. Best start through 30 road games in the club's history. The only time they had a better stretch on the road over 30 games was June through August of 2009. That's after Jim Tracy took over and the Rockies took off. They went 21-9. They're playing a similar kind of baseball at home also. On their way to 92 wins, a franchise best. Nolan fouls this one off.
And a playoff spot. Playoff appearance back in 2009. Who can forget that?
Nolan hitting .387 this year against the Padres with a couple home runs. His home run yesterday was his first this year at Petco. He's now hit a home run in 8 of the 9 road ballparks the Rockies have played in 2017.
Also 6 for 9 in this series.
He wants that pitch back. Pitch was up and out over the plate. He fouled it straight back. 0-2.
Those are ones you get your arms extended on and drive them a long way. You know, nowhere near where Hedges had asked for that pitch, and Cozart got lucky, got away with it.
And this is down the line foul. Not by a ton. Nobody knows where the ball's going to land better than the guy who hit it. Nolan only took a few steps out of the box. He knew it was going to fade.
Yeah, immediately after a couple steps, you know that, well, that ball's going to keep slicing and it'll end up foul. There are a handful of times throughout the course of the season where you're not quite sure, and so you run about halfway, 3/4 of the way, and you're still carrying your bat. And then you either got to walk back or you drop it so the first base coach can almost pick it up.
Again, Nolan has to foul that pitch off. Borderline pitch on the outside corner, protecting with 2 strikes. Nolan hitting an even .300 out on the road this year. .275 at Coors Field. 9 of his 14 home runs have come out on the road. No score, top of 4. A leadoff single on a 3-2 pitch by LeMahieu. Came in, and it's 1-2. Here's the splits for Arenado. And a strikeout. That is the 5th strikeout for Cozart, who coming in had struck out only 10 in 20 innings.
Yeah, Rockies mini plans are still available. Choose 15 games, including either the July 3rd or 4th fireworks games. Mini plans include some postseason ticket opportunities.
So here's Reynolds. That's surprising also. Not only the fact that he hasn't walked anybody with the numbers he had this season, but the strikeout numbers. That's down the right field line, and it's going to run close to the wall. In fact, it will kick off the wall. DJ to third. He'll stop there on the double by Mark Reynolds.
And if Hunter Renfroe does not play this perfectly off the wall, then that's a run scored and probably a triple for Mark.
What helped him, I'm sure, is his familiarity with his home ballpark.
Because he needed it. The swing from Mark, inside out, down the line, but watch how he makes this play. He goes right up against the wall and is able to snag it in his glove. Because that wall jets out. So if it hits on one side of that partition of the wall, it's going to kick towards the line. If it goes on the other side, it could kick back into right center field.
Nobody has hit better with runners in scoring position than in baseball this year than the guy at the plate right now, Gerardo Parra. Second and third. Parra nearly hit one out in the second inning leading off. And he takes ball 1. That was that catch that Cordoba made crashing into the left field wall. Blackman on that list too.
And 16 for 34.
Coming home with it is DJ, and he's going to be out.
A little squibber out in front of the blade. DJ takes off. And then it's just a flip out of the glove and an easy tag. Right now, DJ knows he's in trouble. The pitchers work on that play a ton during spring training, the PFP, and Gerardo's not happy with himself because you had the infield back. You just get a ground ball to second baseman or shortstop, and that's a ribby.
So here's Desmond with 2 outs, way outside. Desmond's been good with runners in scoring position also. He's hitting .435. And he's been really good this year against the Padres. You know that all 3 of his home runs have come here at Petco. Overall, a .360 average. Breaking ball, and it's 1-1. It's a pitch that he just swung at, read it, stayed off at 2-1. Mind game where you're trying to think along with the pitcher here. See the gears working in Ian's head.
Is it going to be another slider? Is he going fastball away? I think more than anything, sometimes you'll also think about, what side of the plate is he going to go to? I think for Ian, he's going to go away from him. He doesn't want to challenge him in.
He went away, and Hedges makes a terrific block. It's 3-1. This is a run if he doesn't get the chest protector and bury it.
Well, and that's in the other batter's box. That's where guys are standing, hitting from the left side, and he got lucky that it didn't hit a cleat mark there and skip some other direction.
Now does he give in and throw the fastball? He throws that fastball 2/3 of the time.
I don't think so.
3-1. He went fastball, ball 4. Now they're loaded up for Story. He pitched like he wanted nothing to do with number 20.
Well, the guy has 3 home runs in this park this year. There's a reason for that.
That's where you really want to take advantage naturally. And you have to figure Cozart, even though he's pitched well to this point, the confidence has to be fragile.
Here's a guy that has not won in 20 straight starts. That's tied for 23rd longest in Major League history.
It's kind of Shelby Miller-esque from a couple of years ago. Remember when Miller couldn't win with Atlanta?
24 straight games for Shelby Miller that he went. The leader all time is JoJo Reyes, who in 28 games.
Who's that guy with the Mets a few years back?
Anthony Young.
Poor guy didn't win for like a decade.
92 to 94. He won 27 consecutive starts.
Outside, ball 1 on Story. Trevor struck out his first time. He had a couple hits on Friday night. 1 for 5 yesterday. Bases full of Rockies with 2 outs in the 4th. 2-0.
Cozart kind of went through his glove and his arms and shoulders down, thinking I needed that call. It was off the Subaru strike zone.
Now does he have enough confidence to throw the slider? 2-0.
Whatever it is for Trevor, make sure it's on about the size of a tin cup that you're looking at. Oh.
He thought he held up. First base umpire Trip Gibson said he went.
Well, I thought he held up too. The side look will give us a better view.
I thought he held up.
Yep, I did too.
Two-1. Now it's 3-1, and the same philosophy, Huey, doesn't it? Applies
yes,
right here. You got to put it in a small box.
Small window for Trevor.
Because you also know the history of this guy.
Yeah, he walks. He's walked 1 this inning, but the history of him is he walks a lot of guys.
Part of your hitters meeting today, right?
That's exactly what you go. That's the first thing that's mentioned in those meetings.
3-1. That's fouled off down the right field line. The other benefit you have, Huey, is right now the base is loaded. Cozart's not going to go to his second or third best pitch.
No, his fastball, he'll throw it 69–70% of the time. The other advantage you have right now with Ian over at first base. You got speed, full count. He's going to be taken off. You hit it in the gap, he scores.
Good swing. No score, top of 4 at third base. Mark Reynolds. Gerardo Parra is at second and Desmond at first.
For Trevor, take that deep breath. Try to relax everything. Know that that guy right there, he's the one that's in trouble. He's got to come to you.
Fouled off again. Desmond hit a grand slam yesterday. Earlier this year, Story hit a grand slam. They have the 2 slams for the Rockies this season.
That slam came against San Francisco for Trevor.
Snuck up on me. He's throwing 70 pitches already. Here's another 3-2. Up the middle, base hit. Story comes through. 1 run is scored. Here comes the 2nd run with Parra. Trevor Story wanting it back 2-0 Colorado as they break the ice.
Those 2 out ribbies.
And you know Trevor Story feels great about it. Gerardo Parra feels really good about it also.
He feels a lot better, and DJ feels better after being put out at home. Everybody in that dugout right now is saying, way to go. He fouled off 3 fastballs in a row. So you know, and you have that feeling he's going to come back with another fastball. And that time, short and to the ball, Trevor was 22 ribbies now.
You know what's changed for him of late? Swing playing a little bit. Last year, 27 jacks in 97 games. He became a national phenomenon. He got off to a very slow start this year. The strikeouts were up around 40%. And his launch angle, which is all the rage this year, Josh Donaldson, right? Launch angle for power guys. His launch angle had increased 11.7% from last year. Curveball's a strike to Walters.
But not in a good way.
Well, you know what? No, because you know this, Huey, from playing, that your bat, if it's at that angle, is going to be in the zone shorter.
Right, and so your margin of error is much greater. You can't stay in that zone as long as you would like to.
His OPS had dropped 167 points with the increase in launch angle. But I think a lot of that was what we saw prior to going on the DL, because his at-bats look completely different the last 2 weeks.
Much calmer at the plate for Trevor, and coming through with a big hit.
It's a huge at-bat right there. And this is pulled through the hole. This will get a run home. And going first to third is Story. Tony Walters drives home his 8th run of the year. 3-0 Colorado. And once again, doing it with 2 outs. That has been one of the themes of this series.
And the bottom part of the order coming through again. I mean, it all works in tandem. And you figure at some point they're going to get to him. They had to. And they did. You know, Tony pulling this one. They can't put the shift on with the runner at first. So he hits it into right field, driving in Ian, and Trevor moves up to third.
Jeff Hoffman takes a strike, 8th man to hit in the inning. You know, Mom is happier now. Grandpa said, okay, that's good. Let me see what you do your 3rd at bat. Dad's like, honey, I knew he was going to come through. It's okay.
Fine. It's all good. Didn't have a chance to ask Tony if he was going to stay here after the game and
day off tomorrow.
I know that's what Buddy's going to do. Buddy staying here in San Diego, take a flight back to Denver tomorrow night.
Two strikes on Hoffman. That could be playable near the stand. Oh, man. Did he catch that ball, Solarte?
No, he didn't, but what an effort. They've had 2 plays today. We had Cordoba in left field, and now Solarte diving into the seats. Padres playing hard. He goes and just misses it, but that wall is so short.
You know, you've run over there a bunch. You know you're going to get cut off below the waist.
And that's the worst place. If it hits you in the midsection, you're okay. Might knock the wind out of you, but you're not going to flip into the seats.
This is driven to left center field, but it'll be caught out there by Cordoba. That'll end the inning. Rockies with 3 3 2-out runs. The big blow is the Trevor Story lengthy at bat, and the base hit up the middle, and then Walters drives one home. 3-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. You ever been over there?
Yes.
Intrepid, that's Midway. I always call it Intrepid. Intrepid's in New York. I've been to that one. I've been to the Midway. And that is so neat. And it's very interactive. If you have a family and you're coming to San Diego, get over to the Midway. Seaport Village. Rocky scored 3 in the top of the 4th. Jeff Hoffman has been outstanding so far. He's allowed just 1 base runner. They forced Solarte into 35 pitches in that last half inning. All 3 runs against scoring with 2 outs. Cozart with 35 pitches. I'm having name issues today, man. What is going on?
Sunday.
Coffee, please.
Coffee.
Only 30 pitches in the ball game so far by Jeff Hoffman. Jan Hervé Solarte, who just ran into the stands a moment ago, the 2-hole hitter, and he gets a curveball for a strike. A lot of bite on that. Uncle Charlie.
Even on the get me over type of curveball, not to finish him off.
He went back to it. That's a strike. 0-2.
Both of them on the first one in the bottom, the other one on outside on the Subaru strike zone, but not in the center part of the plate. And Jeff really hasn't thrown many pitches there today.
And 3 curveballs. He gets a strike out of Solarte. And that one was a little different. Not just that he spiked it, he threw that one harder.
5 miles an hour harder than the other ones. The other ones were 78. That was 83. He just used him in that at bat. 4 strikeout of the day. And Solarte, all he can do is just walk back. He said, don't even worry about tagging me. As soon as I start to take the steps towards the dugout, I'm going to be out. So it's all good.
Here's Will Myers. He struck out against Hoffman his first time up on a curveball.
You kind of see the pattern what they're doing the second time through. They're not starting him out with the fastball.
Remember when the Rockies pitchers didn't throw curveballs? It was all sinker slider.
Yeah, it's kind of was like, you can't use it. It's not going to work.
That's 5 straight curveballs, 2-0.
But if that's your strength, though, as a pitcher, you should be allowed to use it, and I think it's great.
Well, the organizational philosophy's changed on that.
And it's okay. You can throw it at Coors Field. You can throw it out on the road. It's going to work anywhere you play if you've got a good one.
Buddy Black is a big proponent of that. Mark Wiley oversees minor leagues, pitching coordinator. 2 balls and a strike. And the Rockies have 3 guys of 6 in their rotation. I'll include Jeff Hoffman, who's just come up a few times now. Parra makes the catch. Hoffman can really spin it. Tyler Chatwood, who threw the beautiful ball game yesterday, can really spin it. And the gentleman who threw on Friday, Herman Marquez, can spin a curveball.
And if that's your second best pitch or your first best off-speed pitch, then you should use it. You should be able, because if I don't have a feel for a slider or a changeup, but yet you're trying to get me to throw that instead of my best pitch, that's not fair to the pitcher. He's trying to go out there, win a ball game, compete, help the club win, and he doesn't have all of his tools in his tool belt.
Schimpf hit a fly ball to the wall in left center his first time up, caught out there by Desmond. Here's the 0-1. Well received just off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. That at 97 miles an hour. Good heater. 1 and 2. It's not just velocity, it is location. We always say that. Herman Marquez had great stuff on Friday, mislocated a couple of fastballs, and against this lineup, they don't hit for average, but they hit the ball out of the yard. 1-2, curveball is chopped foul backwards, basically.
It's always you're always learning something when you play the game. And I think for Herman, he's going to learn something about that game the other day, how dominating he was, and then misplaced a few fastballs. But it's okay to throw a few more curveballs.
1-2, 2 and 2. Well, you know what? They all share. They have great competitiveness. We know they all have great stuff, all 4 of the young kids. But they all have high aptitude. They're all bright young men.
And they expect a lot of themselves.
Yeah. Here's the 2-2. And a high heater, a strikeout. Hoffman has been marvelous through 4 innings. That's his 5th strikeout. And he has thrown only 40 pitches. How about that? 3-0 Rockies.
Rock your routine. Every Sunday at Petco Park, they host Marine recruits as part of their day-long celebration called Military Sunday. Hundreds of recruits sit seated above right field. They stand at attention while they play the Marine Corps hymn, and everyone everyone here at Petco Park claps along. This is a military town here in San Diego, and the Padres are a proud team of the military. Of course, the Padres wear their camo jerseys on Sunday, but they love to honor and recognize those that serve. And for these Marines, they've usually been at boot camp and away from the public eye for about 3 months. So this is their first chance to get out in public, just a few days shy of graduation before they enter to serve our country, guys.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. And it's also Army National Guard Day here at Petco Park. 1-0, and this ball is hit toward the hole, and it's a base hit for Blackmon past the diving Solarte. Charlie's first knock of the afternoon. That'll bring up LeMahieu.
Solarte's mad, but this is a good swing from Charlie. Finally gets enough behind it to hit it in that hole. Solarte just goes over past a dive, and this was after last half inning where he flipped into the stands.
So Blackmon at first, LeMahieu, who singled last inning at the plate, and he takes a strike.
That's where Cosart has to live, on the Subaru strike zone, if he wants to be effective.
Charlie is 4 out of 7 swiping bases this year. Rockies with 3 runs on 6 hits, no runs, just 1 hit for San Diego. Time to the plate 135, which is slightly above average. 130 is average, and anything above 130 will give you an opportunity to steal potentially.
And I'm just thinking about this in this situation. I'm not sure it's a good time to run, because Cosart is all over the map throwing strikes now. And so if somehow you get thrown out, you kind of let him wiggle off the hook.
Yeah, something that goes through your mind, I'm sure. 2-1.
And even if you have the green light, that's what's going through your mind at first base if you're Charlie.
Tony each time goes over and gives him the time.
Yes. Yeah, so you know, but you know, base stealers have that clock in their head. They know when a guy's slower, when he's faster.
Called strike at the knees on the Subaru strike zone. 2-2. Arenado's on deck. One of the game's best 2-strike hitters at the plate in LeMahieu. See if Charlie is in motion here. Stay out of the double play. No. And that was dropped. So DJ catches a break.
Just got enough of it. Hedges couldn't catch it. Oh, it was in his glove and then popped out.
And it's 3-2.
Now I would go ahead and try to take off if I'm Charlie at first. And remember, we were in the situation a couple days ago when they did the run and hit, and DJ pulled the ball past where the shortstop was.
They changed up their coverage. A lot of teams do with DJ because he hits to the right side so much. There goes Charlie, and it's fouled off.
And this time they put the second baseman who was going to cover.
Yeah, they went conventional.
And a lot of that will be determined by what type of pitch it is and the location of the pitch. So middle infielders, that's why you have to look in and you have to know the signs, what's happening. And then once you see the sign, that's when you'll make the coverage call. .87 pitches in for Cosart.
marine layers finally burning off. See blue skies.
It's not the June gloom.
Runner going again, and it's fouled off again by LeMahieu.
That time it was a shortstop covering.
And
you don't have
both times, but Cozart on the previous pitch threw the ball in, which is, you know, he did hit location. That's why they had shortstop covering. This time the pitch was designed to go away, which it did.
Now, if you're DJ, you really can't think, because they've on 2 pitches, 2 different coverages. So you just have to think, I got to get the ball on the ground, hit it hard, but not back up the middle.
Charlie goes. That's inside, ball 4. And first and second.
Yelling up here, stay on the bag, like Charlie can hear me.
You helped him out.
He's still there.
I think he was listening more to Stu at that point in time, but I'm glad that you were participating and trying to help out.
Sorry, every once in a while it still comes back to me.
Duly noted. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Arenado. Single and a strikeout for Nolan. Outside, ball 1. Had an interesting conversation earlier today with Scott, assistant trainer for the Rockies. Swung on and missed.
Scotty Garrett.
Yep, Scotty Garrett. And you know, Scotty's a good baseball man, not just a great trainer, but we were talking about these situations, first and second, and how it's a little different for the Rockies, opposed to, you know, just putting down a bunt, that sort of thing, or, you know, moving a runner when there's a guy on second and trying to hit the ball to the right side, because you have middle of the order guys. That's a strike that you wouldn't ask to do that. And Scotty pointed out that really the Rockies have middle of the order guys 1 through 7.
And that's part of the luxury you have with this lineup. And I think also another reason why you don't see a whole lot of stolen base attempts. Just 24 or 26 this year for the Rockies.
Well, they have 13 stolen bases. There's only one team in baseball that has fewer stolen bases. That's the Baltimore Orioles. They're a power team. They have 12. The Mets are a power team. They also have 13 stolen bases. But he'd like to see that number go up. And, you know, when David Dahl eventually gets healthy, he's a guy who can steal some bases. Trevor Story, Ian Desmond. This ball's fouled off. But to your point, you're not going to take the bat out of the hand of a guy like Nolan or Mark Reynolds or Gerardo Parra or Cargo and get thrown out on the bases.
No, because I'd rather have the Earl Weaver home run, the 3-run jack. Former Oriole longtime manager. That's what they played for. And this team's built differently than that, but they have the power to put up a 3 spot.
2-2. That's outside. Now it's 3-2 on Arenado.
And do you put him in motion now?
Got action in the Padre bullpen. Craig Stammen, who was in the ball game yesterday.
I'm not sure if the guys take off.
I don't know if you do here. They're not going. And it's ball 4. Now it's loaded again for Mark Reynolds.
And here come the walks too. That's back-to-back walks, 3 in the game.
But there was 4 hits last inning, and all of a sudden Cozart, instead of being aggressive, started nibbling, and now he's dealing with the bases loaded, nobody out for the Rockies, and here comes the skipper, Andy Green. This has been a consistent theme for Cozart. They've had to get him very early in games. He's trying to buy more time for Stammen. He has not indicated. Now he does. Rockies up 3-0. They could blow it open here. Link, high-speed challenge question. Go to @RootSports_RM to cast your vote. Later on, we'll show you the results on the Toyota postgame show. Which describes you best? We had the Rock and Roll Marathon here in San Diego this morning. The Colfax Marathon was a couple weeks ago in Denver. Are you a walker? Are you B, a jogger? C, a runner? D, a couch potato?
You also have the home run for the homeless this morning, the 5K that ended with the lap around Coors Field. I know which one you would pick, Drew. You're a C guy, even with the bad cap that you pull every once a month.
It's not that bad, is it?
Yeah.
Just seems that way. Mark Reynolds with the bases loaded and nobody out. Mark doubled to the right field corner his last time up. Outside, ball one. Former National 33-year-old Craig Stammen on the hill. Through the top of the ninth yesterday. Did not give up a run. Bullpen had been on quite a roll, as you see Stammen's numbers this year for the Padres, but then the Rockies got 6 off their pen yesterday.
They come in with an ERA just above 1.
And that's way outside, 2-0. Rockies loaded the bases last inning, and Trevor Story, after a lengthy at bat, hit a hard shot up the middle for a base hit to drive in 2. Walters behind him would have a base hit to drive in a run. 3-0, 2-0 count, bases loaded. Reynolds with a line shot that's caught, and a great read by LeMahieu. He ran back to the bag, figuring that Ibar would be able to reach that, and Ibar got up and made the catch, 1 out.
And Ibar is not a very tall infielder, but this was textbook base running by everybody. A lot of times you'll see guys that'll get doubled up on this. On the Subaru Supermo, goes up high off the deck to reach that, but nowhere to go with it.
So Parra gets another opportunity. He had a little squibber back to the mound, and Padres got an out at the plate. That's ball 1. This guy's been the best in baseball with runners in scoring position. Adam considers himself a jogging potato. I hadn't heard that description before.
Well, the one right before that was a couch potato. Jogging potato.
1-0 on Parra, 1 out, bases loaded. And this thing could be a double play. There's one on to first. That's a double play, and the Rockies do not score. Bases loaded, nobody out in the thick of the Rockies lineup, and somehow Stammen works out of it. But he wants to see if, in fact, he was out at first. And he was.
He was out.
The Rockies still have the lead, 3-0. San Diego as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. You hate when those innings take place where you have the bases loaded, nobody out, and don't score. You hope that doesn't come back to bite you. Hoffman has been outstanding so far. Hunter Renfroe's at the plate. He had a fly ball to center his first time. Low target and the fastball just off the plate at 93. Hoffman has thrown, had him at 40 pitches. They have him at 44 now, but a really low number through 4 innings.
Well, considering it took Cosart 96 pitches to go 4 plus 3 batters. Oh, nice. The Cape Cod Baseball League host family is watching every pitch. Those host families they do such great work. So helpful to these players.
Broken bat pop up. Nolan hoping for a play. Not going to have one. Well, Hoffman was drafted out of East Carolina by the Toronto Blue Jays with the number 9 pick in the draft 3 years ago. The number 8 pick was owned by the Rockies, and they took Kyle Freeland out of Evansville that year. And of course, originally Thomas Jefferson High School. So the Rockies now have the 8th and 9th pick from that draft. Two and one on Renfroe, 3 and 1 on Renfroe.
This might be the first 3-ball count.
A lot of quick outs. It is the first 3-ball count. This ball's launched to left, and that is gone. Really gone. Top of the Western Metal Supply Company, and now the Padres have life. It's 3-1 for Renfroe, his 11th home run of the year, and that snapped an 0 for 12.
And he was 4th among Major League rookies in home runs coming into the ball game.
That's the scary thing about the Padres. They have a very low batting average, last in all of baseball. Their OPS is 29th, but they do this.
And you worry about having the bases loaded last half inning and not scoring any runs.
And that ball is smoked to left for a base hit by Franchi Cordero. Now you have the tying run coming up in Austin Hedges, who's hit a home run in each of the last 3 games.
The home run pitch on the Subaru Supermo. And boy, did he get everything into that swing for Hunter Renfroe.
But it's a 3-1 pitch that's on the inner half.
And it's the
he's
first.
sitting dead red.
Exactly, and that was the first time, as we mentioned, that he had gotten to a three-ball count. And so he was looking for it. It was elevated. It went 438 feet.
Well, it's one of those learning moments for Hoffman. How do you deal with a little adversity? Hedges lined to center field his first time up. By Padres standards, this is a pretty nice crowd on a Sunday, and they've got a little buzz to them now. Good spot. Padres, each of the first 2 ball games in the series, drew just slightly more than 20,000.
But if you're Jeff, think about executing these pitches. If you continue where you just put that pitch, you'll get hopefully a ground ball double play.
One and one.
We've seen the Padres in this series still stay aggressive, even trailing. We saw it on Friday night, not so much yesterday because they got behind by such a big margin. But Friday night, they ran when they were down by 2 or 3 runs.
And that's a strike with the curveball, 1-2.
Excellent location on the Subaru strike zone.
Edge is a 24-year-old out of Southern California. Drafted in the 2nd round by the Padres. Spurned an offer from UCLA to go directly to pro ball.
UCLA lost yesterday to San Diego State. Forgot to see what the bet was between Pat Blake and Bud.
He lost 2 bets because he not only lost to Buddy, told me also earlier he lost to Doogie, Keith Duggar, the Rockies head trainer who went to San Diego State. 1-2. Swung on and missed. So another curveball, another strikeout for Hoffman. That's his 6th. First strikeout of the inning, and Ibar will come up. He had an infield hit.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for more details.
So Ibar comes up. Lined the ball off the leather in the backside of Hoffman his first time. Story almost threw him out on that. 1-0. Ibar just 2 for his last 19. He's had his spot taken recently by Darno. Matt Caesar's on deck. That's a strike to pinch hit for Stammen.
And I think that was called a strike. As you see Caesar on deck, that was called a strike because Tony behind the plate stuck it and held it.
One out, a run in on the home run by Renfroe. Franchi Cordero's at first. 3-1 Colorado. That looks pretty good. Just off the plate, evidently. 2-1.
Jeff's going to do a little mound work for a second because I think his spike got caught when he landed. He spun off that pitch like we haven't seen today.
And that's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And both pitches called strikes, pitch number 2 and number 4 on the Subaru strike zone. Those are the ones that induce double plays and ground balls.
Go back to the curveball here. What do you got, Huey?
His curveball has been really good, really effective. That's a good option, or fastball away.
He goes curveball, and Ibar didn't bite. One of the areas, one of the many areas that the Padres have been deficient offensively. With 2 strikes, they're hitting 144, which is last in baseball. 3-2. Cordero takes off, and it's lifted to Desmond in left. Routine play. And with 2 outs, Matt Caesar will pinch hit. Like so many more National League teams than a decade ago, the Padres going with the extra man in the bullpen and a 4-man bench.
You have to do it. It's almost what it's become now, even in the National League. It used to be the National League was 5 bench guys, American League was 4. You always carried the extra pitcher because you're not going to double switch. You're not going to do all that in the American League. But now, just with the pitching the way it is, you just feel like you need that extra arm.
Kirby Yates, he'll be next for the Padres. Caesar takes a strike on a curveball. He's out of Villanova. Two-sport star at Villanova. There, he played football and baseball. Good school in suburban Philadelphia. Got a pretty good hoop program.
Remember a couple years ago we were out there. We drove through the campus of Villanova when we were out in Philly. Really pretty campus.
Two strikes on Caesar. On the ground foul. Fastball, and he blew it by him at 95. Hoffman does a nice job. The home run to Renfroe, then he immediately gave up a hit to Cordero, but he gets a couple of punch outs and a little fly ball. Rockies in front 3-1 off to the 6th inning. And for the Rockies, Ian Desmond will lead it off when we come back.
Leading things off for the Colorado Rockies. Ian hit his first grand slam as a Rocky yesterday, the 3rd in his career. He was hitting .272 coming into the game today, and he just feels like he's heating up, ready to contribute to this very long Rockies lineup.
It's a fun lineup to be a part of. You know, always got action out there on the bases. But I think most of all, you know, we push each other. You know, I think that's part of it, is that, you know, nobody wants to be the guy on the bottom. You know, we all want to, you know, be the superstar of the day, I guess you could say. It's a nice competitiveness, but we all, you know, support each other.
And Bud Black was happy that Ian Desmond got to be the offensive superstar yesterday. He said he's definitely a Rocky, but he feels after signing that 5-year contract, he's still trying to be the Rocky. We know Ian Desmond in this league for a long time as a leader, and that's exactly what he's trying to be, guys. He's trying to earn those stripes in the clubhouse, to be that voice, and sometimes you have to feel like you're performing on the field to do that.
There's a transition period, and the one thing Ian won't do is he won't force it. He won't, you know, get up on a soapbox because he has that reputation. He's just trying to fit in. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it has to be natural. And for him, as you look at the numbers on Kirby Yates, he pitched a 1/3 of an inning on Friday and had a strikeout of DJ LeMahieu. But for Ian, it will be authentic and it will be organic.
And it'll be well thought out. What the point he's trying to make, or what he thinks the team needs, because he's very honest too. You go up and talk to him, you get that honesty that sometimes we don't get all the time in professional sports.
No, you get a lot of coaches speak or players speak. Very cliches. 2-1. 2-2. See if the Rockies can crank the offense back up after the disappointment of not scoring last frame when they had the bases loaded and nobody out. Reynolds lined out in the 5-10. Eric Ibar jumped as high as he could, caught the baseball, and then unfortunately Gerardo Parra, who's been so good with runners in scoring position, hit into a 6-4-3. 3 runs in the 4th for the Rockies. Story had a 2-run single. And then Yates strikes out Desmond.
All fans attending Tuesday's game will receive an LED bulb upon exit, courtesy of XL Energy.
A lot of good places to watch the ball game at Petco.
I imagine there's a few people out there just recovering from the marathon this morning too.
Or recovering from last night, being Saturday
I was just
night.
going more with the the healthier option. That's what I was going with.
How about the cattle drive yesterday down Harbor Drive? Did you catch that?
Yes, I saw some of the video you posted. I saw the very end of it though. I didn't get up to see the start of it at 7:30.
San Diego's version of Pamplona. This is caught out there by Myers. That's a terrific play and foul ground by Myers. Story is out number 2 of the 6th. This is some video through the palm trees of the cattle drive down Harbor Drive. And part of it is in celebration of the 150 years of the gas lamp quarter.
I mean, I'm used to seeing that maybe at the stock show when they go through downtown Denver.
Or up in Cheyenne.
Up in Cheyenne, seen the cattle drives up there. I didn't think I'd see one in San Diego. Got to be honest with you.
No, I'm with you on that. 2 outs. Tony Walters at the plate, trying to help flip the lineup over. Tony an RBI single in the 4th. Yates has a big arm. They have a few of these guys in that Padre bullpen.
Yeah, that'll be 94 to 96, and then a hard slider to back it up.
Padres have a couple of young outfielders on the DL. Manuel Margot beating me up on my calf strain. He's on the DL with a calf strain. He's a lot younger than I am. Travis Jankowski has a bone bruise in his foot. He's been out over a month.
I'm just saying that was limiting your ability to run. You had to stay in the
on the bike today, yeah.
The bike and the elliptical.
And Tony went. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Kirby Yates. Rockies 3 and the Padres 1, middle of 6th. leading 3-1. See Nolan Arenado hopefully next inning with the bats. Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean and Crisp Coors Light. Okay, the only Nolan. That was the nickname of Edward Sylvester Nolan, who you may recall played for a couple of teams over 5 big league seasons between 1878 and 1885. He pitched. He had a good ERA, 2.98. Not a good record, 23-52.
Bad team.
376 complete games, 30 shutouts. Pretty good stuff. He had 30. Wait a second.
No,
how do you
was-
only have
that was in
23 wins?
The League Alliance before
Oh,
they
that was
moved
the
up
league
to the
prior when he was
National League.
64, 4-8. Okay. The only was a common term in circus and theater at the time.
I think we have the guy that's known as only Nolan.
The only Nolan Arenado. One strike on Alan Cordoba. Top of the order for San Diego, and he lays down a bunt. It goes foul.
Thank you for trying to bunt with the strike on you. Now it's 0-2.
Cordoba a strikeout, and he fouled out along the first base line to Mark Reynolds.
Some marvelous pitching from Jeff last inning in the 5th after giving up the home run and the hit. Then a strikeout, fly out, strikeout.
I always look at the 6th as that transition inning,
He
and
went.
he went.
Tag him.
That is strikeout number 8 for Jeff Hoffman. He's eclipsed his previous best. That was 7 in the spot start at the bank in Philadelphia. 8 strikeouts, no walks today. He had 7 strikeouts and no walks in his last start. He now has 25 strikeouts this year, 2 walks. I mean, that's Kershaw-esque. I'm not going there,
No,
folks, but
I
I'm
know
just
what
saying
you're
in terms of the strikeouts and the minimal walks. Solarte 0 for 2.
He's getting some strikeouts with the fastball. He's getting some strikeouts with the curveball. But he's only thrown 19 balls in this game out of the 67 pitches. 19.
Solarte fouls that pitch off, and now it's 0-2.
And it's
A lot of
0-2,
options when
and
you're
he doesn't-
0-2.
And he doesn't know what's coming because the previous at bat he threw him 3 curveballs, 2 called strike, then they swung at the one in the dirt at 83 miles an hour. Starts him off with the curveball, he fouls it off, then went fastball. Your head's spinning as a hitter right now. Well, I don't know what he's going to throw me.
He wants fastball up. That didn't miss by much. 1-2. That
According
got
to-
a piece of the Subaru strike zone.
But anytime you go high like that, where you put your body up, somewhat blocks the umpire's just frame of reference.
Story with 3 on the right side. Easy play. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Will Myers. The Rockies' upcoming home schedule is brought to you by Remax. We don't need a large page to get this homestand on our Remax board for you. Tomorrow is an off day, and then that's it. The Indians for 2. Tuesday evening, Wednesday afternoon, it's bye-bye again.
I don't know how many scouts I had talk to me in the food room today and yesterday going, you guys are only going home for 2 games? I've never heard of that before.
Will Myers fouls off a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. He's talking to Tiny, Mike Ponarelli, the home clubhouse manager for the Rockies. And Tiny, he's been with the Rockies since day 1 and never forgets anything. He said, yeah, we had a 2-gamer back at, I want to say 95 or 97. I can't remember what Tiny told me. I said, how do you remember that? He said it was against the Cardinals. He didn't remember what team it was. 1-1. I don't remember any
No, I don't.
2-game homestand. Two and 1 on Myers. Strikeout and a fly ball to Parra in right. He has struck out 70 times this year, 3rd most in the National League. And I like the location of that.
Away from him.
Myers, yeah. I may revisit that curveball.
Punched him out in the first with it.
That's what Tony's thinking. Three and two.
Nothing wrong with that pitch there.
No. Three and two on Myers. And that is a shattered bat and a ground ball to LeMahieu. What a job by Hoffman. Top of the order, 1-2-3 in the sixth. 3-1 Rockies.
On a military Sunday, where today we honor the Colonel, Jerry Coleman, at his new memorial in the press box. Yes, Jerry was the 1949 Rookie of the Year and the 1950 World Series MVP, but more importantly, he served our country as the only Major League Baseball player in active combat for World War II and the Korean War, flying in 120 combat missions. Hang a star on that.
Yeah, Jerry Coleman was a legend in the game, a legend in San Diego, and what a marvelous gentleman Jerry was. First pitch is a strike at 91 to Jeff Hoffman, and the top of the seventh inning with the Rockies up 3-1. Hoffman, Blackman, LeMahieu, second inning of work for Yates. He had a 1-2-3-6. That was a full life that Jerry Coleman lived.
Yes, it was.
It was a heroic life as well. Hang a star on him. On the ground is Solarte. So here comes Blackman for the fourth time today. Charlie had a base hit in the fifth. He is 1 for 3. Dougie's dug up a couple of two-game series. And Tiny was right. The Rockies in 94, not 97, played a two-game series against the Cardinals. But in 97, they played a two-game series against Texas. Two-game homestand, I should say.
Well, that was the first year, though, of interleague play, right? 97.
Yeah. This ball is pulled to right. This is going to be extra bases for Charlie, potentially. Renfroe can really throw, and Charlie is in there. Solarte having a little conversation with Charlie. He stayed on the bag. It was a creative slide, and it needed to be. Renfroe, we know he has a big arm, but he had to redirect his body in a hurry to get this ball to second.
And he didn't spin around on it like you think he would as an outfielder that catches the ball going away from you. He pivots his feet. So instead of spinning, he pivots and has a strong arm to second, and it was a modified slide and then a hang on to the bag as tightly as you can for Charlie.
The ball came out.
Yeah, that's why I say, because I thought for a second the tag was applied on that foot. But with the ball coming out for Charlie, he goes out for his 12th double this season.
DJ unable to move him as he hits the ball to the left side, which you don't see that frequently. Actually, it was one out. Let me correct that. He's trying to drive him in. Here's that Subaru Supremo replay.
So right there, I thought, see, the ball was never procured in the glove. That's what happened. He never got it in there because trying to catch it, tag, do all of that at the same time. Couldn't get it. Now with that out, they'll walk Nolan with the intentional walk.
Mark Reynolds, a little more fuel to the fire here that resides in his belly. 2 out now, 2 on after the walk to Nolan. Reynolds a double, and that line out in his last at bat. He's popped up, and it's going to go over the Padres dugout.
Well, player-elect is back this year, and you can celebrate the guy at the plate, Mark Reynolds, during the Tuesday, June 6th game. Buy the ticket package and get the exclusive player T-shirt.
2 on, 2 outs for Reynolds. He's hitting .382 with runners in scoring position coming in against Kirby Yates. 1-1.
He also has 21 2-out RBIs.
Rockies scored all 3 of their runs in the 4th with 2 outs. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies. A run on just 3 hits. That's all Jeff Hoffman has allowed.
He's hoping to drive the guy in at second base who's the leader with 2-out RBIs. Get a little closer to him. Charlie has 25.
1 and 2 on Reynolds. Eight games so far against the Padres this year. The Rockies have won 4. The Padres have won 4. Everybody else in the division, the Rockies are above 500 against, including the Dodgers. 5-4 against LA. Dodgers lost earlier today. And that's strike 3. So Yates works out of it. Blackman left at second. Arenado at first. Stretch time in San Diego. And we will stay right here for a rendition of God Bless America. Rockies 3 and San Diego 1.
It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Before we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game here on Military Sunday, please stand and welcome back Captain Thomas Tao of the 79th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, California Army National Guard. Please sing along as he presents God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
bottom of the 7th inning. Jeff Hoffman has been the big story again today. He has 8 strikeouts, has not walked a batter. The only blemish, a Hunter Renfroe home run in the 5th. And he has not thrown many pitches for this stage of the ball game, just 76. It'll be Ryan Schimpf, Hunter Renfroe, and Franchy Cordero in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Fly ball to deep left and a strikeout for Schimpf. Dude played his college baseball at LSU with DJ LeMahieu. Leads the club with 14 home runs. And this is out of play behind home plate, 1-1.
He's also second in the ball club in strikeouts. Got 66 strikeouts on the year for Ryan and 160 at bats.
Great curveball, man.
He's had that today for sure. And when you're around the strike zone, you'll start to get some pitches that are off the strike zone.
Here's the 1-2. And Schimpf didn't bite. 2-2. Schimpf is hitting just 165 coming in. I mentioned the home runs. He's hit a home run every 12.76 at bats in his young career, which is, if his career ended today, would be the 3rd highest ratio all time. Only Babe Ruth and the guy he's gotten to know really well, he strikes out on a high fastball, Mark McGwire, better. McGwire, who's the bench coach for Andy Green, there's big man, a home run in his career every 10.61 at bats. You say, well, how many home runs has Schimpf hit? We used anybody with 30 or more career home runs. Barry Bonds, if you're wondering, hit a home run, the 4th most frequent amount, every 12.92 at bats. Jim Thomey's 5th on that list, every 13.76 at bats. Hunter Renfroe fouls that first pitch up off. He hit a 3-1 pitch off the 3rd deck of the Western Metal Supply Company.
But the difference is Mark McGwire, he hit 263 for his career, not 165. I mean, that's a big difference. It's okay you hit a home run, that's great, but you can't be hitting in the 160s.
Yeah, at some point you're going to have to raise that average at minimum, 60 points, you'd think. There's a strike at the knees on Renfroe. It's 0-2.
For Tony behind the plate today, he's had the option calling fastballs, calling curveballs, maybe a few sliders here and there, but he's just been sitting back there setting the target, and Jeff's dotting it.
0-2, and that just missed. And you said it a moment ago, when you're around the plate, you start to get the benefit of calls. Listen, the strike zone shouldn't expand, but Roberto Ortiz kind of getting on board with how well he's pitched. That ball's left up, but Nolan's got it. His first chance today. 2 outs. Our Kubota pitching performance. Let's focus in on some more of the numbers on Jeff Hoffman. He's racked up 9 strikeouts. Hasn't come close to walking anybody. Just 3 hits. In his last outing in Philadelphia, he went 7 innings, allowed a run on just 3 hits, 7 strikeouts that day, and no walks. Our Kubota pitching performance. Here's Franchy Cordero. He has one of the 3 hits, a line single to center. Hoffman has maintained his velocity. It's been 94 to 97. His first start of the year against the Dodgers, which was a good one, he averaged 94.6 on his fastball. In his last outing in Philadelphia, he averaged 95.9 on his fastball.
And last year for Jeff, he averaged 94 miles an hour on his fastball.
That last pitch was a pitch we haven't seen many of today. That was a changeup.
He hasn't needed to throw it very much.
I mean, his 1 and 2 have been dirty. And again, another 2-strike count. Jeff got in late afternoon yesterday, not in time to catch any of the ball game. Here's the 1-2, and this is a little comebacker, and Jeff will run it over, go underhand. Another 1-2-3 inning. That's 9 in a row set down since the Cordero single after the home run by Renfroe. We go to the 8th. The Rockies 3, the Padres 1.
A 3-1 lead. I got the chance to catch up with Bud Black's teammate from San Diego State. They were teammates in 1978. His name's Jeff Doyle, and he knew back then as players that Bud Black was destined to be a manager.
We would come in like I'd come in from the outfield. Buddy would always, it seemed like after every at bat, he'd come over and sit down next to me. And he'd cross his legs before managers did it. I mean, he'd sit down, he'd have his legs crossed, and put his arm up here, and we'd talk, and he'd always want to get into my head to find out, you know, what kind of a pitch did you see? And I think he did that way back then. So I knew he was a manager in the making for sure.
Well, we've had a chance all week long to talk to some of Bud Black's friends from his childhood, high school, college, and it's pretty cool. They all tell the same exact story. Bud Black is a loyal guy who knows where he comes from. He's a very close circle of friends, but he's very friendly with everybody. And I think that picture that Jeff just painted right there, it says it all, guys. How many times have we seen Buddy sit down in the dugout, cross his legs, arm around a guy to have a conversation with him? So he was doing that decades ago, back as a player.
He is very personable. He is very bright and congenial. He has great attributes just to hang and visit with, but great attributes to lead. And that's something his teammates, as Jenny was saying, saw early on when he was at San Diego State. Second to Bochy and wins with the Padres. New pitcher's Ryan Buchter. We saw him on Friday. Rockies actually got a run off of him. That is foul. I'm surprised that Parra went to lay down that bunt because Ryan Schimpf was already inside the bag, less than 90 feet away.
Well, for Buchter, 25 ball games. You touched on it, the Friday night game, 2/3 of an inning, couple hits, 2 strikeouts to give up the 1 earned run. One of 3 left-handers that the Padres have out in their bullpen.
He's a guy they use on the plus side. They're down right here 3-1. Parra, Desmond, and Story. Rockies trying to expand their lead up 3-1. Hoffman has been brilliant today. You go back though to that 5th inning, Huey, when the Rockies had the bases loaded, nobody out. They had run off Cosart. Stammen came in. Reynolds lined the ball. And at the shortstop, Ibar made a leaping catch on. That's 1 out, and then Parra came up, and he's been sensational with runners in scoring position, but he hit into a 6-4-3. So instead of adding on at least 1 at the minimum, The Rockies didn't get anything there, and they haven't had much going offensively since then.
Then think to the bottom of the 5th inning where Jeff gives up the home run, then the single right after that. You think, oh no, what's going to happen? And he locked the door down. So that was it. That's all they're getting. And then since that time, since that base hit, 9 straight.
Two and two. Ooh, look out. It did hit him. Okay. Parra wincing. It's hard to tell initially. Some of those new batting gloves, you were talking about BGs earlier, right?
Yes.
Some of those new batting gloves have a little bit of padding on the back of the hand.
I don't think this one's on the back of the hand.
It's got
could be
padding on the elbow. That's where it hit like a knuckle.
And yeah, the knuckle on the knob.
Parra is aboard leading off the inning. See if the Rockies can build an insurance run.
Well, San Diego's going to ask to go to the headset to check on the hit by pitch. Better look on the Subaru Supermo. Oh, it goes off the pinky.
Pretty clearly a redirect.
Yes.
Crowd's reacting because they think it hit the knob of the bat. And I'm sure it did hit part of the knob, but it also hit the pinky.
After it hit the pinky first.
There's no way you can flip that around.
But for Andy Green, you can see why he's challenged. It's the 8th inning.
Yeah, he ought to.
Yep. Stay there. Hit by pitch.
So that'll bring up Desmond. And we've seen Ian a couple times this year try to lay down a bunt for a hit to move a runner along. In other words, in the best case scenario, it's first and second. In the worst case scenario, if he gets it down, he's able to move Parra to scoring position. It's part of what he does, and he's got Schimpf back at third naturally. And that may be on the mind of Buchter, who want to see if there was any early reveal from Desmond. Where Ian's a winning player. Yeah, he has the ability, obviously, to hit the ball over the wall. He's normally a 20-plus home run guy. He's a team guy.
Yeah, you have a lot of options. The one option I don't think you have is we see Jake McGee getting loose now. Is trying to steal a base off of Buchter.
Desi with a, that go off the glove or foul tip? Okay, it's an 0-1 count. We had a shot a moment ago at Jeff Hoffman. We didn't see handshakes, but Jeff has taken his jersey off, so it looks like after 88 pitches and 7 terrific innings, the Rockies are going to pass it on to their bullpen. Parra's getting attention like he's Ricky Henderson right now. Parra has attempted 3 stolen bases. He's 0 for 3. And Desmond hits a floater to short. 1 out. That'll bring up Story. Jeff Hoffman outstanding again today in a spot start.
He's putting his. Does he wear like an ankle or a leg guard?
That's interesting. He's putting his batting gloves on. Maybe he's not. I mean, maybe he's going to put his jersey back on. Why would he get ready to hit if he was coming out of the ball game, right?
Yeah, you never know how this might work for Buddy.
Well, here's one thing. Maybe that's a sweatshirt that he's put over his jersey.
I think that's what it is, that he can just take it off real quick instead of putting a true jacket on.
Again, just 88 pitches. Plenty left in the tank if you were watching the 7th inning.
And maybe Jake's just getting loose out in the bullpen just in case. But they're going to let Jeff go ahead and work the 8th inning, or start the 8th inning at least.
Story lifts this one foul and out of play. Rockies have left 7 on base today, just 2 left on against the Padres. They haven't had many base runners against Hoffman. And another foul ball on a fastball at 94. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Story. A big base hit in the 4th to drive in 2 runs against the starter Jared Cosart.
And with that base hit for Trevor's up to 209 on the season.
Walters on deck. Two and two. With a win today, the Rockies would improve to 20-11 against the West this year. 7-2 on Sundays. 21-10 out on the road. It would make it 10 series in a row to start the season on the road without losing one.
The only other team to have 20 wins out on the road, Houston Astros.
Houston's really good right now. You'd have to, if you were looking at power rankings, you'd have to rank them number 1.
The next closest team, Washington, they've won 18 games out on the road. On their way to their 19th, beating Oakland 11-6 in the 9th inning. Washington opens up a series against the Dodgers tomorrow night in LA.
That will be interesting. 2-2. 3-2 on Story. How do you start Parra? Got a guy who does strike out at the plate.
The only problem is if you do start him and there's a strikeout, he'll be thrown out by a mile.
Because he's got to wait.
Yeah, because he has to wait till the ball's out of the hand.
He's not going, and it's pulled foul past.
That's where
Stu Cole.
That's where I would not put him in motion for that reason. If it's a right-hander, sure.
Jeff Hoffman looks a whole lot like a guy staying in the ball game.
He's ready.
This ball ripped to left field. Parra is picking up Stu Cole, and Stu's going to hold him at third on a double by Story.
Trevor has fouled off some pitches today and then come through with base hits. Did it in the 4th inning with the single up the middle, now a double down the left field line. 10th double of the season for Trevor.
Well, for the moment, Valleca is in the on-deck circle. This may be some gamesmanship potentially.
Doesn't necessarily mean he's done.
No.
See what happens here.
Infield's in, and a strike on Tony. Walters a base hit to drive in a run in the 4th, 1 for 3. Tony's been good left on left. Now Jeff's putting the helmet back on. He's the only actor in a play, and he's got to change costumes multiple times. One-man theater. 1-1. Good eye. Tony hitting .333 this year left on left.
There's nobody up in the bullpen for San Diego. So if he gets on, I think you go for that jugular and you put Pat up at the plate.
That's a good eye. 3-1.
Buchter thought it was a strike, but it's clearly not a strike on the Subaru strike zone. I don't know why he's walking around so much. Maybe he's just mad at himself.
And ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Pat Valleca standing there, and Pat Valleca with the bases loaded will pinch hit for Jeff Hoffman. So Buddy Black is going to play the offensive card here with 1 out. I don't think he would have done it with 2 outs.
No, that's why I said, that's why Jeff kept going, putting his gloves on, taking his helmet off, taking his gloves. I'm not hitting, I am hitting, I'm not hitting, because you didn't know how it was going to play out. But once Tony gets on, this is where I said you go for the jugular. You have Pat up there, you hope he comes through, and you add 2 or 3 more runs on.
Pat's been good in the pinch. And he gets a pitch to hit out over the plate. He fouls it straight back.
Pat's 5 for 15 as a pinch hitter. An RBI, 3 doubles.
Infield is halfway. It's not double play depth. They're about 10 feet out on the dirt. Trying to come home with it. This ball's pulled foul. And now Valleca will have to work out of an 0-2 hole. The line for Jeff Hoffman, gorgeous again. He goes 7 innings, allows a run on 3 hits, just as he did in Philadelphia. Instead of striking out 7, this time he struck out 9, and like Philadelphia, he didn't walk anybody. Tremendous, tremendous performance by Jeff Hoffman. And Valleca strikes out. So with 2 gone and the bases loaded, it'll be Charlie Blackmon. So often an at-bat comes down to 1 pitch at the big league level. You're not going to get multiple pitches frequently to hit, and for Pat it was the first pitch of the at-bat.
And when he fouled that off, they come back with a curveball or slider. He hooks it foul. And that's the tough thing for pinch hitters. You're coming up and you hope you get that 1 fastball. You better do something with it. A lot of times you're not going to get another one to put into play, and he didn't.
Charlie's got 2 hits, a single and a double. He takes outside. Leads baseball with 47 driven in. Charlie 289 against left-handers this year.
Can't say enough about that young man and his performance today.
A lot of poise, filled up the strike zone. Bases full of Rockies, 1-1 on Blackmon. And Charlie got a pitch to fire out there. It's 1-2. Parra was hit by a pitch. Story doubled. Walters walked. 3rd time the Rockies had the bases loaded in the game. Down the line, just foul, and the hands immediately shot up in the air, indicating foul ball from Trip Gibson. That looked pretty close.
You don't get an argument from Charlie. And again, the hitter will tell you what happens. So close. Game of inches, as they say.
Charlie, with his great ability to cover not only multiple types of pitches, but in multiple locations.
Well, the best I've ever seen, it played here forever, Todd Helton. I mean, he was a guy that could do that. You see Todd spoil pitches, fastballs, sliders, curveballs. And the next pitch, he'd spit on it because it wasn't a strike, and next thing you know, throw a base hit out there.
And again, he wastes a pretty good pitch by Buchter. And now Hedges wants to converse with him.
Kids big and small, be sure to visit the new Aero Arcade presented by Aero Electronics, located in the interactive area on the main concourse in center field.
One and two, bases loaded, 2 outs, top of 8. And there's the one he spit on.
So now's the one that you'll get the base hit on, because he's fouled them all off. He spit on that one. Eventually the pitcher makes a mistake.
Franchi Cordero, the center fielder, is way over in left center field. Cordoba, excuse me, is on the left field line. And way off the line is Hunter Renfroe in right. 2-2. You always like a hitter, a good hitter's chances, the more pitches he sees.
And I'm laughing because I'm sure Buchter's going, really? I've thrown all these pitches. Ninth pitch coming up. All over the Subaru strike zone, in, out, up, and down.
Quick hands, he fouled that pitch off. He's become an elite hitter. And what I mean by that is not just the power numbers were there last year, but last year he hit over 300. He's a guy that continues to get better, continues to hone his craft, doing all of the little things to get incrementally better.
The last 22 games hitting 366. Against National League West over 340.
And Buchter wins the battle. It took him 10 pitches. Rockies leave him loaded. Jeff Hoffman and the Rockies up 3-1. Rockies up 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. After 7 stellar innings from Jeff Hoffman, he'll hand the baseball to Jake McGee, who has been unscored upon in 16 of his last 17 outings.
And that one outing, he just gave up just 1 run. 18 inning pitch, 11 hits.
6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. The league hitting 185 against him. He'll get Austin Hedges, a line out and a strikeout. Eric Ibar, switch hitter, will be in from the right side, and then we'll get a pinch hitter at 7, 8, and 9 in the Padres lineup. Rockies now have left 10 on base today. And McGee's fastball misses inside.
For Jake, he has not pitched since Thursday in Seattle. Threw an inning in that game.
Yanked into the seats, foul with authority.
Jake out there, I'm sure it's going to be Chase Darno. That would pinch hit a couple doors down.
That's strike two. 1-2.
A strike definitely on the Subaru strike zone. A little bit of a quick pitch from Jake. Trying to disrupt the timing of the hitters, and I just wasn't happy with the call.
Pop up and do shallow right. Parra coming. DJ saying I've got it, and he does.
It's nice when you have somebody like DJ with the range that he has to be able to go out there and call everybody else off.
There are some infielders, you were one of these guys, that are really, really good, really comfortable with the ball in the air no matter where it is. You say, well, they're infielders. There are certain plays that are difficult. That was a difficult play, but DJ is so comfortable.
If you have to go back as an infielder, that's probably the easiest play because it's to your glove side. If anything over your shoulders or back over your arm side where you have to reach back, it's a little bit tougher. But those ones, you're so used to going over towards the foul line that way. You have a lot more of a comfortable feeling.
0-1 on Ibar, 0-2 on Ibar.
Ibar hitting 172 right-handed. 5 for 29.
It's like Kevin Quackenbush is going to be the next pitcher. Actually, it's not Quackenbush. Now I've been told it's Brandon Maurer there.
Well, they have an off day tomorrow. The Padres do. They don't fly out till tomorrow night. They're going to Arizona to start a series there on Tuesday.
Ground ball to third. Easy play for Nolan. Perfect throw. 2 outs. So it'll be Chase Darno pinch hitting with 2 outs. Little note on the game that Hoffman threw: 7 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. It's the 15th time a Rockies pitcher has struck out at least 9 in a game without a walk. The last coming September 17th of last year when John Gray threw that unbelievable game against the Padres when he struck out 16, a new Rockies record. Eight pitches, 7 strikes, all fastballs. And this is in the air, fairly deep left field, playable for Desmond. He's got it, so 1-2-3 inning for Jake McGee. So we'll go to the 9th, the Rockies 3 and the Padres 1 at Petco. LeMahieu, Arenado, and Reynolds. Standing 16 strikeouts, no walks in his last 2 starts for Jeff Hoffman. DJ LeMahieu's going to lead things off in the top of the 9th. DJ's 1 for 3 in a walk, and he'll face Brandon Maurer, who the Rockies saw on Friday night. Maurer got the save, his 9th of the year. Big arm, he's upper 90s guy.
But for Andy Green, you say, why is he bringing him in here? He needs to try to keep this game just at a 2-run deficit right now. With the off day tomorrow, he can do that. Because normally you wouldn't bring your closer in, a guy that just worked on Friday night a day and a half ago. But there's one guy you do want to see in the game next half inning, Greg Holland, just getting loose.
It's always interesting to see how closers react. This ball's hit pretty well to center field. It's better than Cordero thought. It's over his head. It's a leadoff double. Cordero was going horizontal to the baseball, and then he said, whoa, this is over my head. A leadoff 2-bagger for LeMahieu.
He started a run to a point and then had to make a banana route, because that wasn't the route he needed to go to start with. He needed to go back. He didn't think DJ had enough juice behind the baseball to do it. So he runs over. I'll get it. Oh no, I'm not going to get this. And a leadoff double for DJ, his 11th this season.
6th hit in this series. Now Nolan, 1 for 2, 2 walks. One of those walks was intentional. He takes a strike. I was just going to say, we often talk about this. How does a closer react when he is not in a closing situation? Oftentimes it's not nearly as sharp.
I'd say about half the closers that I played with and talking to various guys, about half of them didn't want to be in this type of game. They just didn't like it. And they would be fine with don't use me for a while if that's the case. Other guys said, well, I'm going to go out there. I'll get my work. I'm still competing. It's okay. But it's a 50-50. It's a coin flip.
Hold the string. It's 1-1 on Nolan. And the Rockies have struggled to get that big hit in this game, other than the 4th inning when Trevor had a huge hit and then Walters behind him had a base hit. There were only 3 runs. They've left 10 on. They've had opportunities really to make this thing much more comfortable. That's a strike, and Nolan's gone.
He knew it.
Mark Reynolds will take his turn. Who wants tacos? Fans follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a ball game. Reynolds a double and a run scored in the 4th. Line out, a couple of strikeouts. 2nd in baseball in RBIs to his teammate Charlie Blackmon. He's got 46. 2 for 11 against Maurer.
Watching the show the other day, they were breaking down all the first basemen and the candidates for the All-Star game. He wasn't even in the top 5 that they had listed.
Yeah, just keep grinding away. You keep winning ball games, and you'll get the attention that will be deserving. I don't think these guys care about that, though.
No, you know, talking to them, no, they just care about winning today, winning series.
2-1. And a called strike, 2-2.
Pretty big split between Maurer's fastball and his off speed. When he's 98, dropping an 83-mile-an-hour off speed on you.
Came in at 98. Reynolds fouled it off. Parra's on deck. To right field, right at Renfroe. And that's the 2nd out. Greg Holland in the ninth. We'll see the top of the order. Cordoba, Solarte, Will Myers. What the booing's about? Is it because Parr reached first on a hit batter last time?
Honestly, I have no idea.
That would be
maybe.
It's a pretty big reaction when in fact he did get hit and they checked it out in New York. One strike on Gerardo.
Much for the laid-back fans of San Diego.
Really, yeah, that's what's surprising. You know, if a few people noticed, oh, here's the guy that, you know, there was controversy, minor controversy, if you will, as to whether or not he got hit.
Like that guard in basketball, or that player that has an air ball, they remember that, but this is different.
0-2. And Mauer strikes out Parra, so the Rockies can't take advantage of the leadoff double by LeMahieu. They'll take a 3-1 lead to the ninth. They'll hand the baseball to the guy who's been the top closer in the game this year, Greg Holland. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Coors Light, whatever your mountain, climb on. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by StubHub. Looking for great seats? Head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the Colorado Rockies. Rockies 3, Padres 1. Colorado needs 3 more outs to shake hands. Alan Cordoba will be first against Greg Holland, who's 20 out of 20 in save situations.
Also has won the award for best reliever back-to-back months, April and May, and rightfully so.
And the fastball is low. Cordoba 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts against Jeff Hoffman. McGee worked a 1-2-3 eighth inning after 7 innings of outstanding pitching from Hoffman. And this is popped up left side. Story and Arenado. Nolan's got it. 1 in the book. Major League saves leaders. Craig Kimbrell of Boston, the former Padre. He has 16. He is second. Greg Holland And the Padres, there's not great familiarity. Solarte has never faced Holland. Myers, who's on deck, has one at bat against him. He does have a hit. Rocky shift for Solarte. And it's a breaking ball for a strike.
The only guy that has some experience would be Eric Ibar, who has 9 at bats against him, but he was dispatched of last inning.
Ball and a strike. This game's played out like a typical Petco game through the years. Low scoring. Well, the Rockies, hopefully it just becomes a footnote on this victory. They're 2 outs away from it, but they've left 11 on base.
They'll also snap a streak where they'd had 10+ hits in 4 straight against San Diego.
By 1, they have 9 hits today. 2-1, and it's 2-2.
Like you said, I hope it's all for naught for Greg finish this up. He's only allowed 2 hits in the last 9 ball games.
Swung on and missed, and the tag at the plate, out number 2.
Well, we have a tough time deciding, is this a split, is this a slider? So we'll go with the slurver. That's what it is.
Whatever it is, it's been pretty much unhittable.
Because it goes down like a split, but it has some action. He doesn't have the fingers really split on that one. That's more of a slider. But you get a lot of ugly swings on it.
2 outs, nobody on. Myers, who's 0 for 3 at the plate. One and 0. We got a graphic we got to show you. The shortest games this year throughout baseball have come at Petco, which is, has always been known as Pitcher's Park. 2 hours 56 minutes. Coors Field, would you believe this? The 5th shortest games this year. And you know what it has to do with?
Pitching.
The Rockies improved pitching. This is in the air, right center field and deep, and out there is Parra to make the catch, and that's the ball game. The Rockies take 2 of 3 in San Diego. They now have won or tied all 10 of their road series in 2017. Who would have thought that? Maybe the most unlikely club to produce a stretch like that. Hoffman gets the win. He was brilliant again. He's now 3-0 in spot starts. Cosart takes the loss. He's